drives like we just saw. But in terms of the units themselves, they literally just slide out. There's nothing extra to buy. The rack mount guides are supplied as part of Xserve. There's no top to take off. So you can just literally slide the thing part of the way out or all the way out. There's nothing to take off to get at the guts. And to service almost every component in seconds. So, we also have hardware monitoring, where we try to alert you to what needs service, in some cases ahead of time. So what are we monitoring with hardware? The drive status and pre-fail, which is part of that smart disk technology. We're monitoring the temperature of both the processor and the enclosure. We're monitoring that the fans are working and what their RPMs are. We're monitoring the power supply voltages. And we're monitoring that the network connections are established. And you will see more about this a little later. It's really impressive what we can do with this. We also have built-in security. Since this is so easy to open up, we have an enclosure security lock that keeps it from being opened. We have an intrusion alert that lets you know if it's been opened. And we have a software lock so that you can lock down FireWire, USB, and the CD-ROM from letting anyone in. So we tried to think of the type of security that people want in a modern-day server. So, this is Xserve. You can service anything in seconds. We think we've built in state-of-the-art hardware monitoring and security and have a very strong serviceability story. So pricing and availability. Pricing on Xserve starts at $29.99. There are two standard models. One comes with 1 gigahertz G4, the other comes with dual gigahertz G4 processors. 1/4 gigabyte of DDR memory, the other with 0.5 gigabyte of DDR memory. Both come with 60 gig drives as standard, one for $29.99, one for $39.99. But most people aren't going to buy these standard configurations. They're going to configure one exactly like they want. You can go to our website and do that. Select the server page, select one of our standard models, or customize it any way you want. Thousands and thousands of configurations. Now, how does this compare to the competition? What does it look like out there? Well, we picked a few different things to compare to. Here's Xserve. We're going to take the dual processor model. We're going to take our competitors and configure them as close as we can to Xserve. So here's a Dell PowerEdge 1650 with dual processors. Configured, it's about $4,277. An IBM eServer X3300 for $5,186. And a Sun. This is the closest Sun we could get. The low-end Suns are not competitive, and it's almost $20,000. So 3 of these are 1U servers. The Sun is a 4U server. 1U servers. And as I mentioned, they have dual processors in them. Dual 1 gigahertz G4 in Xserve. The other two, the middle two, use Pentium 3s. They can't put a Pentium 4 in because they can't get the heat out in a 1U server. So they use Pentium 3s at 1.4 gigahertz. And the Sun uses a dual 900 megahertz UltraSpark 3s. Now, if we look at level, they all have level 2 caches built in. If we look at level 3 caches, though, which really can speed up performance, the Xserve, again, has 4 megabytes of level 3 cache, 2 megabytes on each processor. And the Sun has 8 megabytes of level 3 cache, but the Dell and the IBM have no level 3 cache, and it's not even possible to add it. So this does affect performance. In terms of memory, we've loaded the Dell and the IBM up to get to 512 megabytes. The Sun, the lowest you can buy it with, is 2 gigabytes, which is great. But if you notice, the Xserve is the only one that uses 266 megahertz DDR memory. The rest of them are at 133 megahertz SDRAM. And that makes a difference in performance, double the bandwidth to memory. On the disk drive front, we've loaded them up to get as close as we can to Xserve with its 60 gigabytes. We've got 73 gigabytes on the middle two and about the same on the Sun. If you notice, again, everyone else uses SCSI drives. We think there is an absolute trend to ATA drives now that they've gotten as fast as SCSI drives and are less expensive and larger capacity. But if you look at the total capacity of each of these servers, We've got 4 bays in the Xserve for 480 gigabytes of storage, but look at the 2 middle ones. 219 gigabytes max on the Dell with 3 bays, and 144 gigabytes on both the IBM and the Sun. So all 3 of these servers have a lot less storage capacity and flexibility than Xserve does. Ethernet, again, Xserve and Dell come standard with dual gigabit Ethernet. We've loaded the IBM up. You can't get dual gigabit Ethernet on the Sun, but we've ordered the optional single gigabit Ethernet included in that price. So again, the prices for these things are, as I've mentioned, but these prices are for Linux on the middle 2 servers. Mac OS X server on Xserve, of course. Linux on the middle 2, and Solaris, of course, on the Sun. But what if you want to run Windows on the middle 2? Well, you're in for a shock, because to buy a Windows license on the middle 2 for just 5 users, which is not too useful in an enterprise, $799 additional dollars. Most people are going to have to buy the 25 user license, which costs $3,295 from Dell or IBM. And when you add that price, as you see, Xserve and Sun come with unlimited user licenses bundled in. If you add that to the price, look at what you get. Look at the hidden cost of actually running these as Windows servers with just 25 concurrent user licenses. Look at what they cost compared to Xserve with an unlimited user license at $39.99. So, again, 2 standard models, single and dual processor, and you can configure to anything you want on the website. We are taking orders beginning today, so after this meeting you can all go